Hey all, and welcome back to the third HellfireComms Disneython. Today we're going to be taking a look at a sequel to one of the movies we covered in the second Disneython. Today we're checking out Lilo and Stitch 2, and yeah, I don't think this is as good as the first film.
Definitely not.
Not by a fair shot, but before I ramble on and use of all my commentary, let's just get into the film itself. If you need help syncing your copy of the movie, which we can't provide for copyright reasons, to our audio, please check the link in the video description, and there's like stuff and instructions and everything you need in there. Alright, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. It has been many a year since I've watched this, so honestly I've forgotten what the plot's about.
Well, so basically the plot of Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, is that Stitch has a glitch.
Ah, yes.
That is basically the entire basis of this film, and so on and so forth. I would say that it's probably my least favourite of the 4 Lilo and Stitch films that exist. And I think that part of that is because they replaced Davy Chase as the voice of Lilo with Dakota Fanning. And while Dakota Fanning does a decent job here, she's not Davy Chase.
No.
And it's just like, seriously, I know they were working on this main series, which is why they couldn't have Davy Chase because she was too busy with that. But it's just like, you got everybody else back for the film, so why couldn't you get her as well?
Maybe she had like more pickups and retakes to do, and they just couldn't allocate time. And whatnot. It's actually kind of interesting looking at this now, because I can see the series in terms of like the animation and whatnot. It's not near. It's better than the animated series. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as fluid as the movie itself.
Oh, definitely not. But hey, it's a Disney sequel. These things never tended to be that well animated, and to be honest, this is actually, I would say, one of Disney's better animated sequels. In the grand scheme of things, it's not as amazing as, say, Lion King 2, but it's definitely above quite a few of the others.
I gotta say, it's fucking loud. I have to put this on like near 0 just to be able to hear you.
I know, I was thinking that too, and I was just like, good God, how loud is this?
No, don't kill her, Stitch, you need her, oh my god.
God, Stitch has properly had a glitch in this weird-ass... I'm assuming it's a dream sequence.
Richie.
I feel like it is a dream sequence.
You're assuming it's a dream sequence.
Yeah, it's been a very, very, very long time since I watched Lilo and Stitch 2. So...
And here's the series animation right here. Stitch himself is, I would say, about as good as the movie, but I don't want to spend the whole thing just like nitpicking like animation cells and whatnot. So, when did you first watch this, mate? Because it was like direct to DVD, wasn't it?
It was indeed, pretty much as soon as it came out, because, you know, massive Lilo and Stitch fan.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I consumed basically everything that was there. So the second it came out, I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait.
Aww.
Unfortunately, I was then kind of, well, entirely heartbroken because of how this film ends. Which is kind of one of those moments of just going, oh, you're going there with this. Oh, okay. I mean, also it's a little bit of an odd one because, so, Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch is technically the third Lilo and Stitch movie, but it takes place after the first one and before the third one.
Is that Leroy and Stitch?
No. So, the release chronology of the films is Lilo and Stitch, Stitch the movie, Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, and then Leroy and Stitch. The time chronology of the Stitch series is Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, Stitch the movie, and Leroy and Stitch.
Wasn't Leroy and Stitch like the finale to like the whole thing?
Yes, so effectively, Stitch the movie starts the series, Leroy and Stitch ends the series.
Okay.
So they're sort of your bookends. So Lilo and Stitch 2 Stitch Has a Glitch is ultimately the odd one in the entire sort of 4 films because of when it came out, because it came out 2005, so 2 years after Stitch the movie, but it takes place before Stitch the movie. So we were mid-series at this point, and it's sort of one of those things where you just go, why?
Aw.
But, I mean, even though this isn't as good as the original Lilo and Stitch, and I would say that's probably one of my least favourites of the four, it's still a really enjoyable film.
Yeah, it's perfectly watchable. Also, they got this at the end of the first movie, so continuity.
Exactly. And then also we get a few song callbacks, so a little bit of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, which
Love it.
is just a lovely song.
If you want me to take this down a kind of sad route, since we last recorded the first com with Mexi, the voice actor for Jumba has sadly passed away, David Ogden Stiers.
I know.
Who, if we're talking Disney, also voiced Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. He was Ratcliffe in Pocahontas, and he was another character in Treasure Planet, I want to say.
Potentially give me 5 seconds and I will confirm.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it would be nice to know all the same.
Yes, it does matter. This stuff is important. So, let's go back all the way to his first Disney stuff. So, yep, Governor Ratcliffe and Wiggins in Pocahontas. He's the Archdeacon in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I always forget that one.
Yeah, Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. Fenton D. Harcourt in Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jumbo Jukiba in all of the Stitch series.
R.I.P.
And I think that's all of his key Disney roles, but he's been the narrator in many things.
I'm probably mistaking him for the dude who plays the dog character, the professor in Treasure Planet.
I think you are, yes, because that's definitely not David Ogden Stiers.
Yeah.
But David Ogden Stiers is also in a number of Studio Ghibli dubs, because obviously Disney and Ghibli had a very good relationship for many years.
Yeah.
And basically Disney did a lot of the dubs. So he was Kamaji in the English dub of Spirited Away, which is actually really cool because obviously Davy Chase was also in that dub.
Yes, she was, yeah.
Nice little bit of connection there. And he was also the narrator for My Neighbours the Amadors.
I like the Amadors. Like, I won't go into full as to why here. We've done a commentary of pretty much every Ghibli film, Richie and I. So I figured, if we can't schedule stuff properly, we'll do the third Disneython ourselves, the third Disneython. And maybe for Disneython 4 we'll shake it up again. But now we're getting into sad times because if I recall the plot correctly, this has to do with Lilo's mother, am I right?
Sort of. So, basically, the whole thing of... Well, there's two plots that go throughout Lilo and Stitch 2. One is Stitch having a nightmare that he's going to turn bad again and destroy the Earth and hurt Lilo.
Yeah.
That's his plot. Lilo's is that she wants to perform at the local May Day festival, and basically her mother... I think won the competition back when she was younger, and so Lilo wants to be like her, but it then sort of spends the entire movie trying to be like her mother.
Right.
Which is really sweet.
I think I remember what's coming, actually. Wait for it. Myrtle's gonna be a bitch in 3, 2, 1. It's happening as we speak, Richie. You can't stop it.
No, nobody can ever stop Myrtle from being an absolute cowbag. But yeah, Myrtle is voiced by Liliana Mummy, which is a weird name, but there we go. It might be pronounced Mumi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but there we go.
I love how Stitch is like, now you go get a girl and I'll take pictures of it.
Well, you see, that's just because Stitch is like the bestest best friend ever.
Yeah, he knows when to hold you back and he knows when to let you go. We've all seen the meme, Richie. You're not special.
So yeah, Liliana Mumi is... She's done a few... I think Myrtle...
I don't need her entire backloggery, mate, please.
I know, but I'm just going to say, so Jessica Baker in the Cheaper by the Dozen series is probably one of her more famous roles. She was also Nonoko in My Name is the Amadeus dub, and Madge in House Moving Castle. And then various other things as well, but I'd say those are probably your main things.
Who voices Pleakley again, mate?
So Wendy Pleakley, because obviously Pleakley's first name is Wendy, we need to make sure that that's in there, is voiced by Kevin MacDonald, who people would recognise as being a member of the Kids in the Hall, apparently, Waffle and Cat Scratch, Pastor Dave in That 70s Show, and the almighty Tallest Purple in Invader Sim.
Of course, yeah.
Let's see what other delightful things he has voiced over the years, or been in over the years. Nothing that I think would be hugely amazing, but he does such an amazing job as Pleakley that really I don't care if there's no other roles that I really know him from, because he's just amazing.
I keep forgetting that the town doesn't know that Lilo's family are, like, filled with aliens and whatnot.
I know. It's one of those things where you just go,
yeah.
Do you not see this? But then, I mean, really, you can just get away with saying, yeah, they're just really ugly. They're the side relatives and cousins from all the way back when.
Oh, David. He just wanted to smash, but now he has to help them crash.
It's actually quite interesting because this is Jason Scott Lee's last performance as David in the Lilo and Stitch series.
Huh.
Which I find interesting because obviously he did... I'm not sure whether he did all of the series. Oh no, so he did the original film and Lilo and Stitch 2, but then David's voiced by D. Bradley Baker in the series and Stitch the movie and Lilo and Stitch.
Huh, I'd never actually noticed a difference, but that is D. Bradley Baker for you.
I know, there's a lot of very good voice mimics in voice acting these days. Some, like, you will see everywhere. I mean, Corey Burton is a prime example of voice actors that people get in when they need someone to sound like another person.
Yeah, in all fairness, his Frollo in Dream Drop Distance actually does hold up better than I remember it doing, because I remember not liking it at all. I like my first time for it, and to be fair, you can't replace Tony J, so maybe I was a bit biased.
I mean, it's the exact same thing if you can't replace Christopher Lee. But I think that, for the most part, Corey Burton has done an amazing job of doing the role of Ansem.
Yeah, he's amazing as Sark in the MCP in Space Paranoids.
So yeah, I'm just hoping that whoever they've gotten in for Kingdom Hearts 3's Xehanort is as good as a voice double as they've managed with everybody else, because that's sort of one of the characters where you kind of really do need a decent voice double, because Leonard Nimoy, God rest his soul, has had such an iconic voice.
Yeah, very much so. So anyway, there's a movie going on here, Richard.
Yes, there is.
Do you ever have a treehouse, my dude?
I did not, largely because the tree in our back garden was never big enough for a tree house. It's very tiny. I mean, it's still relatively tall, but like it's not really a tree you can climb. But it's a nice tree. It's a nice apple tree that's been here since before the house was built. Actually,
ooh, wow.
Well, it might not have been before the house was built, but it was definitely before my parents moved in. And that has been a long time now. They're only the second owners. And it was pretty well established at that point. But yeah, it's lovely apple tree, although we used to be able to eat the apples, but then as the tree's gotten older, it's just sort of, the apples just aren't good anymore. So we just let them fall and then have to just clean them up. But it is always nice having a nice tree in your back garden.
Such a fucking banal conversation.
Well, hey, not really a whole lot has happened in this film at the minute. We're about to get to some of the more interesting things of Lilo trying to come up with a hula for her for the competition, for the festival, and being typically Lilo about it.
Yep, just plain old Wade. And if you listen carefully, you can hear where, like, David Chase begins and Dakota Fanning ends, really. It's, her inflections aren't spot on, are Dakota's.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame her, because, I mean, you've got to think Davy Chase performed this role in every other medium of the character of Lilo, apart from, I don't know whether she was Lilo in Stitch the series. I doubt it.
No.
No, not Stitch the series. I mean, what do you call it?
Stitch.
Stitch the anime series.
It's just called Stitch with an exclamation mark.
Yes. So yeah, in there she's voiced by the child Lilo is voiced by Melissa Farn, and the adult Lilo is voiced by Gwendolyn Yeo.
Yeah, let's just lay our cards out on the table now. We're phrasing it like that because Lilo's kid looks exactly like Lilo, leading to many a wacky shenanigan.
Definitely, and also...
That's one of the things I remember most about the movie.
Yeah, and can I just say, Nani is amazing.
Yep, great.
Like, easily one of the best Disney females out there.
Absolutely, yeah, like Tia Carrere does a great job.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the other thing that I really like about Tia Carrere is that obviously she brought a lot of a lot of the culture to the original film and to the rest of the series. She was sort of one of the people that they went to make sure that they got the stuff about Hawaii correct. And I think it's always really nice when you've got actors helping to influence the way the film's going, especially when they are of the culture that the film is about.
Yeah, for sure. You want that authenticity.
Yeah, I just really like that as a thing.
I can't remember the last time I marathon something on TV. It's usually either on YouTube or Netflix nowadays.
Ditto. I don't tend to. Well, I've not done anything on TV in a very long time, and definitely not binged watched anything on TV for a very long time. It's basically just been Netflix.
Yeah, if it's Christmas, I'll go downstairs, I'll have Christmas dinner with my mum, and then we'll watch Doctor Who, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, but hey, this is what happens.
Oh, I see. So we have a C plot of David still trying to get with Nani.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically the entirety of the series. That's always the CD plot.
I had to laugh because I was watching Plinkett put out a new review today, at the time of recording, the 28th of August, and he described Last Jedi as being a film full of C plots.
I can see that.
I get it. I can see that. Oh, we're having the titular glitch. Stitch is having a glitch.
Yes. He is slightly turning back into a monster and not quite understanding why.
So perhaps Jumba's perfect experiment wasn't so perfect after all.
Well, we're going to find something out part way through this film. I mean, already we're about nearly a third of the way through it. It's a very short film.
It's a very short film, which lets us record 2 in one night, which is great.
I know, thank God. It means we're going to be finished sooner with the entire marathon rather than going, a week before the final ones are meant to go up, and I'm just going, for the love of God, don't make me do this anymore.
Well, that's why I chopped it down, which is fine for a change of pace.
I mean, especially when it's just us two, you need to balance things out, otherwise you just got far too much going on.
I already asked too much of you as is, but anyway, enough interpersonal behind-the-scenes relations. What the fuck is going on here, Rich?
Jumba has kind of figured out that something is definitely not right with Stitch, and has gone to the ship to do a little experiment to see exactly what is occurring. And this is what is occurring.
Ah, well, that's foreboding and probably wasn't written at the time the first movie was conceptualized.
Definitely was not, and also clearly was not written by the time when they wrote Stitch the movie, because this has no bearing on it whatsoever.
I gotta say, it is a very nice looking movie in parts. It uses its budget well.
Oh, definitely. Like, I'm watching it now and I'm just thinking, for the fact that this was a Disney Toon Studios film,
No.
and it was sort of direct to DVD, it still came out looking not half bad.
Oh, he's a cuddly little fluff ball.
I know, although you didn't use the line properly of the fact that he is cute and fluffy.
Hey, he describes himself as that. I'm not here to stereotype. I'm here to talk over a cartoon.
But yeah, obviously this came out the same year as Tarzan 2.
Ugh.
Which, yeah. Pooh's Heffalump movie, which is not that bad.
I've heard good things.
Mulan 2, which I know it's a very... a lot of people don't like it, but I don't find it too bad, actually. I quite enjoy it for what it is. So yeah, those are the other films that came... Oh no, there's a few that came out later that year. So Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie, and then Kronk's New Groove.
Oh, I like Kronk's New Groove, that's fun.
Oh yeah. So basically, Disney Toon Studios were very, very, very busy bunnies.
Yeah.
In that time frame. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 6 films coming out in the space of a year.
Jesus.
Like, my god. I think that's probably more than they ever did at any other point. And actually, yeah, looking at the rest of their output, that is the most films they outputted in a single year, ever. Because 2004, they released a grand total of 4 films, one of which we're actually also going to be doing today.
Oh, nice.
The other big one was The Lion King 1.5.
That's a fine movie.
Yeah, 2003, 4 films, 101 Dalmatians 2, Jungle Book 2, Piglet's Big Movie and Atlantis Milo's Return.
Yikes.
2002, the big ones were Return to Neverland.
Why don't we just skip ahead to 2017-18, right?
Right, so they haven't made a film since 2015.
Okay.
And that was Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Neverbeast.
Is that one of those CGI films?
It's one of those CGI Tinkerbell films, yeah. It's part of the Disney Fairies series.
They're apparently quite good, you know?
Yeah, I've not heard bad things about them. So yeah, basically from 2008, they've... Well, a bit before 2008, but pretty much since then they were working on Tinkerbell films and then also the Planes series. So their last 4 or 5 films were theatrical releases rather than the predominantly direct-to-video that they had.
Are they defunct now?
Well, I'm going to have a look to see, because they don't seem to have done anything in a... Oh yeah, so they are pretty much defunct now. The final feature was Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Neverbeast.
Well, R.I.P. And yeah, just actually going back to the movie in question again, I'm guessing the reason Stitch is having a glitch was because they didn't get to finalise, well, Jumba didn't get to finalise his conception.
Basically, yes, he didn't get a chance to fully charge Stitch's molecules, as he was interrupted by the intergalactic police in the middle of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not 100% complete, so his charge is basically going down. So Jumba needs to create a fusion chamber before Stitch's energy runs out for good.
I love the running theme of Elvis. I don't know why, it just gives us, like, the franchise a unique spin to it.
Well, yeah, because it's one of those things that, like, no other Disney film or Disney franchise really has any relationship with the real world. Whereas Lilo and Stitch is the only one that actually does, because it has Elvis and actual Elvis, and the soundtrack is filled with songs by Elvis, and it just gives it that sense of reality, which then makes the crazy stuff of an alien living among us that looks like a cute and fluffy blue koala dog thing. Yeah, poor Stitch. It just makes it balance a lot more. It grounds it.
It's the mundane versus, like, the extraordinary. That, like, juxtaposition always makes for a treat, a good watch.
Exactly, and it's just great.
Oh, bless him. He can't ignore his inherent programming to destroy.
Considering he'd done so well before, and the absolute joy of seeing someone who you're used to having a mustache without a mustache, and you just go, "Who are you?"
It's like a dog without a collar. It's like, ew, you're naked. All of this antics on the screen right now, I think the series is basically penance for all of this.
I think so, yes. I mean, also, the series kind of has nothing to do with any of this. I
was trying to make a little joke, Richie, but we're done now. Finito. Kaput.
Yeah, the shenanigans are over because we have reached a bench where we're going to have a lovely moment of talking.
Yeah, he's kind of dead right now, Lilo, sorry.
He's been dead for a very long time. Unless, you believe all of the conspiracy theories that are out there. There's plenty
of them
out. I mean, I saw something the other day, wasn't looking for it, it just happened to be there. There are still conspiracy theories flying around that Michael Jackson didn't die.
Oh, the absolute state of conspiracy idiots.
I know, you're just like, stop, please. And that, chicken is a cock.
I tried to make the golf claps as sparse as possible, but that definitely was deserving of one.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be honest, I am disappointed in that slow clap because you need to do it a bit. It's a.
Oh, good, that's still in there.
Yes.
I've been watching Paige and Pat play through Portal 2 recently. Oh, how are you doing? Because I'm a potato.
Oh, I do love a bit of GLaDOS. She's, like, amazing. As is Wheatley, to be fair.
We should do a playthrough of Portal at some point.
I would be totally down for a playthrough of Portal and Portal 2.
Like, I'm not in contact with Great Zombie Rollin anymore. I don't want to step on his past toes, but maybe a new lick of paint for Portal and a playthrough of Portal 2.
Oh, definitely. Totally fine with that.
Just prod me with, like, an electrical stick if I get any puzzle wrong for more than a millisecond.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I will.
That dude has a very tiny head, the one on the right.
He does, but we're about to get what is effectively the key song for Lilo and Stitch 2, which is I Will Love You Always, which is really, really lovely.
Well, let's just go back for some evil scientist antics. And then, that was kind of like that one Professor Layton minigame where you have to make the mechanical thing. Sorry, it was a little bit of a spoiler there. And I don't know where I'm going with this. Abort commentary.
Yeah, probably a good idea. But basically, what that song, which I believe is called Always, it tells the story of Hiaka, who is a goddess of Hawaii. She is, in fact, the patron goddess of Hawaii hula dancers, chant, sorcery, and medicine. And her common and family name means carried egg, which is the hi'i. To hold or carry in the arms as a child, and then the aka, which means embryo, which refers to the story of how she was brought to Hawaii by her sister Pele. The family line is also called Hi'iaka, and they take on the task of burying the clouds, providing rain, thunder, and lightning variously.
Why do these gods and goddesses always have to double up on duty? It was like you were rattling off a list of, like, duties, and then and medicine at the end.
It's because it's what they do. But yeah, Hiaka was conceived in Tahiti, but carried in the form of an egg to Hawaii by Pele, who kept the egg with her at all times to incubate it. From this, she earned her full name, Hiaka Ika Poli o Pele. Hiaka in the bosom of Pele. Which is all quite sweet. But the best-known story of Hi'iaka is Lohiau. In the best-known, I think, version of that story, Pele... This story is also going to get told in the story, but in the film, but you know what, I'll just go into it now, because...
Okay, sure.
We're having antics of David trying to get it on with Nani, and being taught in this by Pleakley, who, as we all know, thinks he knows everything about how the human race works, knows absolutely nothing, which is still hilarious to this day.
Go ahead, mate.
So, Pele once fell into a deep sleep and left her body to wander. This all comes from Wikipedia, obviously, and was lured by the sound of a hula drum. Hula drum, accompanied by a wonderful voice. She appeared in spirit at a festival on Kauai, where she fell in love with the singer, a young chief named Lohiau. Hi'iaka had been watching over her, and after 9 days she grew worried and sang an incantation to bring Pele back.
Right.
Upon her return, Pele longed for Lohiau and decided to send a messenger to bring him to her. Hi'iaka volunteered to go on the dangerous journey, as long as Pele would protect her sacred grove of lehua trees and her friend Hapoe, meaning one encircled, as with a lei or with loving arms. Pele agreed to Hi'iaka's request, but insisted that she return with Lohiau within 40 days. She also instructed Hi'iaka not to fall in love with Lohiau, or even embrace him.
Yeah.
Paupalai, the guardian of the ferns, was sent to be Hi'iaka's companion. Along the way, a woman by the name of Wahine Omao, or literally light-skinned woman, joined them. Hi'iaka's journey was filled with many adventures, such as dueling with Kupoa, demons of the island forests, but when at last she reached Kauai, I'm awful at pronouncing Hawaiian names, she found that the young chief had died from longing for Pele. She was able to revive him with chanting and prayer, but she was not able to return to Pele within 40 days. Pele, fearing that Hi'iaka had betrayed her and was keeping the handsome chief for herself, became enraged, and not only destroyed Hi'iaka's sacred lehua forest, but also killed Hapoe, turning her into stone. When Hi'iaka returned, seeing her friend dead and her forest ravaged, she took revenge on Pele and embraced Lohiau. In retaliation, Pele sent waves of lava at the couple. Hi'iaka was unharmed, but Lohiau was killed by the lava. Again, Hi'iaka revived him, thus bringing him back to life twice. Pele, regretting her actions towards Hi'iaka's forest and friend, decided to let Lohiau choose who he wanted to be with. Some versions of the legend say that Lohiau chose Hi'iaka over Pele and returned with her to Kauai. Others say he decided to remain with the both of them. Still others say that he retreated to Kauai alone, but it's most widely believed that after their long and dangerous journey from Kauai, Lohiau has come to love and greatly admire Hi'iaka for her bravery, loyalty, kindness and beauty. God, that talk just completely wrecked my voice. But he chooses Hi'iaka to be his wife and takes her back to Kauai to be with him. So that's basically how that one works, and it's really sweet.
Beautiful, beautiful. And time filling, which is great when it comes to editing this.
Yeah, you know, apart from nearly choking on my
Drink some liquid, you fool!
I was in the middle of talking.
Aww.
Oh, it's just so cute!
She should have got kicked out at that point for disrespecting another person's Hulu.
I know, it's just like, Myrtle, stop being a cowbag.
Must destroy Myrtle, kill Redhead.
Yeah, it's certainly what it feels like it should have.
Sorry, busy dying back here.
Yeah, that's what I feel like right now.
And no one finds the glowing eyes and multiple arms weird.
Clearly not. Like, this is just Lilo's weird dog that's now going on a rampage, and that's definitely not okay.
No.
Although, to be fair, if you take a chunk out of Myrtle's leg, we wouldn't be any worse off, to be honest.
It's easy to see, why Jumper wanted to create him in the first place, because if this is him acting all glitchy, imagine him at full 100% evil. He could do everything Jumper said he could.
Oh, exactly. Stitch being what he was designed to be is a terrifying monstrosity. Because, he can sneak in anywhere, he's ridiculously powerful, by, not getting fully, charged up, virtually indestructible.
The water thing.
And the water thing, yeah.
Oh wait, is that just because his molecules were unstable?
I don't believe so, no, it's because, I think it was something to do with what he's made of is heavier than water.
Okay.
And so, he enters water, he sinks. Whereas you've got to think, with humans, we are 70-odd% water. So when we go into water, for the most part, we float. So, yes, but, oh, look at Stitch trying to do a good deed.
Wait for it to go tits up. It will.
I'm sure it will at some point, but, well, now it's already started to go tits up. He's, taking little old ladies across the road when he, doesn't actually need to.
There you go. Just eat the hair. Or just stick it back on his head. There you go. It's not the same colour, but who cares?
And also that's kind of, slightly disgusting, but, hey, he, likes the look of it, so, great. And, that's certainly one way to, give some people a little bit of a nice suntan lotion scrub.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think it'll exactly work out properly, because, with the whole suntan lotion thing, you kind of need to, Sorry, just Stitch returning that little birdie is just the most adorable thing ever. You actually need to rub in suntan lotion for it to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but just this entire montage is just adorable.
Oh my god. Is that fucking Triton's Palace?
I don't know, but it's amazing either way, and I love it.
Let's just say it is. I can't be proven wrong. There's no confirmation from Chris Sanders.
Exactly, so it's all fine. Although Chris Sanders isn't the one who wrote or directed this.
He's the voice of Stitch. I don't care.
But he is the voice of Stitch, so...
Thank you.
It's all fine. I mean, yeah, so the film was written by Michael Labash, Tony Leondis, Eddie Gazillion, and Alexa Young, and directed by Michael Labash and Tony Leondis. That's not a good directorial list. So he started with Lilo and Stitch 2 Stitch Has a Glitch. Then he directed Eagle. And then the Emoji Movie.
Woof.
Yeah. Wow. He did, however, write or work as a writer on Kronk's New Groove. So, not entirely awful, but that's definitely not a great list of films to have your name attributed to.
I find it kind of funny that Blinkley's attempts to oh my god, maybe I spoke too soon.
Well, as we all know, Blickley has no idea what the hell he's doing.
No, but it was on the beach and I only saw right through it. It was just yeah. But somehow David still managed to put his foot in it.
Yeah.
Oh Christ. We have Coco at the end of this marathon. This is not a good lead-in. Just shut the door. Yeah, I do that as well.
This is... I love it!
Yeah, this is one of the clips they play the most when advertising this film.
It's also just, like, one of the most iconic things ever, and I love it. Like, me and my sister sort of used to do that a lot. I'm just like, he's touching me, I'm not touching you, he's touching me, he's not touching me, yeah. You know, just to be massive kids, and it's hilarious, and I love it.
Look, Nani, you might be an adult, but you can't discipline a fucking, like, alien from the Neversphere. It's not happening.
Well, she can certainly damn well try to. She's done a very good job of bringing up Lilo so far, and considering, you know, she's not really that old herself, it's just like...
Yeah, also, Lilo was meant to be Stitch's parallel anyway, you know, being a weirdo.
Yeah, that's why they work so well together, because they're both weirdos. And they're weirdos together.
Oh. Also, Stitch, I hate to tell you this, mate, but you can't grade your own work.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not how it works.
No worries, I'll die up here before finishing that task. Oh no.
Yep, I think Stitch may have,
You can say glitch, it's fine.
He's glitched well and truly and gone proper nuts.
I left you for 5 minutes and you totaled my room. Lilo, can you not, like, pay attention to your best friend for, like, 5 seconds and notice that something is physically wrong with him, not just mental?
Yeah, it's just like, we've seen Stitch before. We've seen how Stitch changed through, you know, a good Ohana. But, yeah, you know, the glowy eyes, the freaking out, the Stitch going, I don't know what's happening to me! You'd be slightly concerned at that point. Just go, no, this is not actually the Stitch that we know and love. This is, something's up. I also don't know, you know, why Jumba and Pleakley don't just tell Lilo and Stitch what's going on.
It's a film full of misunderstandings. You have Lilo and, well, Stitch.
Yes.
You have, you know, Jumba and Pleakley trying to keep stuff from Nani, and then you have, like, Nani and David's stuff with Pleakley in the mix. And I'm not even, like, the biggest hater of the liar revealed or misunderstanding, you know, series of tropes, but it rubs on me a little bit in this film, I have to say.
Yeah, I think so. The whole thing of misunderstandings can work.
Yes.
It's pretty much at the heart of the best tragedies and also some of the best comedies as well. Like, it's a really useful and potentially quite successful trope. You just need to be able to do it well. The misunderstandings need to be hilarious to make it work. It's why Much Ado About Nothing is such a classic Shakespeare play, because particularly it's the two gulling scenes, as they're called, where the guys are trying to fool Benedict into thinking that Beatrice is in love with him, and then you've got the women trying to fool Beatrice into thinking that Benedict is in love with her, to therefore make them fall in love with each other. And it's because partly because you're in on the joke, it just makes it funnier. But the issue here that you have is the fact that it is literally just a case of characters not talking to each other when they actually probably would talk to each other about these things.
Yeah, it's not a matter of, like, should, it's would. It's established character motivations.
Because, I mean, while I could potentially understand Jumba not saying anything because he is a particularly secretive person, I mean, you know, evil mad scientist for a very long time. But Pleakley is sort of the rule follower and also the one who wants to be sort of an emotional heart of the family.
Yeah.
You would think he'd, you know, just go and tell them the truth, but also you'd think that Lilo would, being, you know, the surprisingly mature child she is, realise what's going on with her friend, but then I suppose she's not necessarily that emotionally intelligent.
Well, she's still a child, no matter like how
Because she's still a
emotionally
child, yeah, exactly.
mature she might be. Also, that bit there was like one of the key emotional cores of the first film. The whole family thing, not only trying to bring up Lilo because their parents have died. It's a little burst of continuity here, and I do like that. There are strong points in the film. It's just it doesn't really make up for the kind of by the numbers plot.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, as a film, perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
Serviceable.
I can see myself in it.
Yes. And it is, for the most part, really well animated for the budget that it had.
Yeah.
And soundtrack's pretty decent. General idea for the plot. Okay, I can roll with it. There's some really sweet moments in it as well. It is just, it's not as excellent. I think actually this review that's quoted on Wikipedia actually says a lot of it. So High Def Digest. So basically, the film has a rating of 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, so not great. With an average score of 5.5 out of 10, based on 10 reviews, so it didn't do phenomenally well with critics. So, High Def Digest said, the humour in the second movie is juvenile and lacking in the wit that makes the first so distinctive.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The characterisations are heavily simplified to the point where some of the characters feel dumbed down. Also, a lame subplot involving one of Lilo's peers feels silly and has a poor resolution. Even worse is the full sentimentality of the climax, which feels like cheap heartstring tugging. I think that's maybe a little bit too far on the criticism side for that last sentence there.
A little bit cynical, yeah.
Because, for me personally, while I feel like Lilo and Stitch 2 is my least favourite of the 4 Lilo and Stitch films, I still do have a special place in my heart for it. And part of that is very much sort of the ending moments, because it really, really did actually tug at my heartstrings as a child for the reasons which, for anybody who has already seen it, and for anybody who, is going to stick with us and watch the rest of the film, will understand when we get to it.
Yeah.
And I cried. I cried at this, because it hit me right where it needed to, because obviously I was still a child. I was 11 at that point, so that's still pretty young in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but you cry at everything though, Richie.
I mean, I do now. I didn't for a very long time. Like, as soon as I hit probably around 12, 13, and I started going through all the crap that I went through at school, I just didn't. I was very emotionless, really, when it came to watching films. Like, nothing really got to me all that much. But then, I can't remember what was the instigator for me starting to cry at films again, but pretty much since then, yeah, just, if it tugs at my heartstrings, it's probably going to get me to go, and I am totally fine with that, because it means that I have emotions, and it means that the film is doing its job of getting me to be emotional. And that's pretty much something that I always stipulate in. If a piece of media is good, then if it's kind of pulling at my heartstrings and it's trying to make me cry, and it achieves that, then one, it's done its job, and also it means that it's doing something right. There are so many things which try to make you emotional, but really don't actually succeed at it. My prime example of that would be Okamiden, which tried so desperately to make you cry in its final moments, and I was just like, I actually don't care, because I've hardly spent any time with these characters, so the only one I care about is Chibi-Terasu. So...
Skyward Sword does a similar thing in its finale.
Now, see, I felt a bit more emotion towards Skyward Sword, but that is another debate to be had.
Yes it is. Let's actually get back to the fucking movie. 7 out of 10. Good use of pineapples. Not bad.
I would give that a 5 out of 10. Too many pineapples.
0 out of 10, too much patriotism.
Yeah.
And bribery.
Yeah, I would say that is a 0 out of 10. Paid advertising.
Oh my god, the whole shtick is just a fucking shill fest. Is this some weird kind of colonialism?
Honestly, I don't know, but that is her emotional importance to her hula.
Yeah, just fuck off, get off the stage. You're already off the stage? Good, get off the island then. And wait for it. Boom goes the island. Oh, it's fine. The plot alarm kicked in.
Yeah, although, guys, you should just maybe just test the thing. You could have just, rather than waiting to push the bloody lever, just push the bloody lever, test it. Should have told everybody how this thing works, and
No.
we'd be okay.
No, there's no time.
There would have been time, goddammit.
No, there's no time for testing. Gotta put it in motion. Well, just send out the beta as is, I guess. Lilo, he's standing right behind you. You're looking at him. Now you notice 15 minutes into the fucking film.
And also, seriously, you get that close to him whilst he's glitching the hell out.
The dream sort of came true, minus all the destruction. Oh. Well, we have our third act climax, I suppose.
We do indeed, and it is basically coming around sort of the final third of the film. They spread this out very well.
Well, Richie's already covered all of this, so I'm not really interested in the hula anymore.
I know, we're just wanting to get to the exciting plane journey.
This would be so much better if Stitch was actually there.
It would. I'm sure we will get a wonderful final rendition of that, but it's not going to be happening right now because Lilo's realised that her friend is in trouble.
That's tomorrow, guys. See you next time. Imagine if this was just part of the hula. All of it. You have to follow her around the island to get the full grasp of it.
Well, I mean, that would be a particularly impressive hula. You'd have to make sure that that Lilo was dancing as she went along.
Yeah.
Just to give you that whole idea that the performance was continuing. But it would make sense. And to be honest, it sort of is part of the hula because she is enacting sort of part of the legend of Hiiaka. So
nice.
Yeah, we've gone sort of full dark right now. Stitch kind of wants to end it all. This is totally decent subject material for a kids' film, eh?
Question: if Jumper can track Stitch's molecular destruction, etc., why couldn't he find him instantly? It's fine, it's not important to the movie.
It's really not, and if it was important, they would have answered that. Basically, it's so that we can get this final journey on the spaceship.
Yep. Remember how this actually painted over an actual aeroplane in the original movie because it came out after 9/11?
Yeah, and the whole thing of it going through the main city in Hawaii rather than mountains and stuff. Yeah, that was definitely a smart move, I feel. But then clearly they felt, you know what, we need to use that spaceship again in flight to get our money's worth out of it.
Well, it's a nice ship.
It is a damn nice ship.
Hmm. Oh, and here's the world's smallest genetically modified. Oh my god, I can't even make a joke. That was horrifying.
Yeah, like, imagine me at, like, 11, like a kid who absolutely loved Lilo and Stitch and really loved the series, like, saying this was traumatizing. Like, completely and utterly traumatizing. Because Stitch was, and still is, one of, if not my favourite Disney character.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
I mean, he's just so cute and fluffy.
Jesus. I don't think they're going to be able to get decent repairs on Earth unless the Galactic Councilwoman, like, rescinds their, banishment.
Although I have to say, the ship's kind of been destroyed, but I'm trying to think back to Stitch the movie. I'm pretty sure it's not completely destroyed there, so they must have fixed it up at some point.
Oh, it's not important to the movie.
Yeah, it's really not.
Come on, everyone, clap! Clap! And if you clap and believe, Stitch will not die.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that's quite how this works.
Talking to like a six-armed alien here, Richie. You explain how it works to me.
It's all down to molecular level stuff. You wouldn't understand.
You're not wrong. Double F in science.
And also, I'm saying that as the whole thing of I don't understand, so I'm saying no, you wouldn't understand because I wouldn't be able to explain it to you even if I could.
Ooh, that one got me.
Yeah, just this entire sequence. Emotionally traumatizing.
A little bit of search for Spock here. Oh wait, no, that would be the second one, Wrath of Khan, I think.
Yeah, it would be Wrath of Khan.
Too late.
Yep. Also, I love how we've just been sort of kind of tearing the film a new one this entire time, and like I get to this bit of a film that I've not seen in years, and there's tears in my eyes. What even is that?
That's effective emotional manipulation, right? If you want to be a cynical asshole movie critic.
Yeah, yes, it is. But god damn it, it's effective, so can't really blame it not all that much.
Ah, that's a callback to the first movie.
Yep.
Is this what she needs? Is that flower like a symbol of death or peace?
I don't know, but it's the flower that's linked to her mother, so it's important to Lilo.
It's symbolic in, like, in-universe terms.
Yeah. I mean, potentially it does have some significance in the language of flowers, but I wouldn't be able to identify that flower even if I wanted to, so if somebody in the comments wants to, identify what that flower is, I can go find out what it actually symbolises.
Wait for it. They're panning. They're panning. It's going up. It's too much. He's blowing up the Earth.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of one of the... It's a very emotional moment, but it is one of those things of, guys, we do know that there is a movie that came out before this, and there is an entire series, so this kind of has to happen before any of that, so we know that Stitch can't die.
Why does he come back?
because this is a kid's film and he
I
has
get that,
to.
but what's the scientific or magic explanation?
They got there just in time, and the power of love and the whole legend of Hiiaka.
Okay, the Hawaiian gods did it. That's enough for me.
Yeah, basically, that is your answer. They decided to replicate the legend of Hiiaka with Lilo and Stitch.
Cool.
And then, even though everybody's gone, they got to finish the hula.
Just so long as Myrtle loses, we all win.
I don't think she gets to lose, but this is lovely, and I really like this song. It's really lovely.
It's a nice ending. I would say the strongest part of the movie is in like the last 20 minutes.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's one of those things of you can't say that Lilo and Stitch 2 Stitch Has a Glitch is a bad film.
No, I don't think it's bad at all.
It's competently put together, it's well animated, the cast do an amazing job, the soundtrack's pretty excellent. It's pretty much just, oh, that was so cute, and is that Stitch? It's just the plot, really, that lets it down, and even then it's really only let down in the sense of it's not up to the same quality as Lilo and Stitch 1 or Stitch the movie or the rest of the series. So it's just its crime is being not as good as the thing that came before it, which, to be fair, is a sin of the majority of sequels. So
I think you could criticize it on a deeper level. I do think like the first 2/3 are a bit by the numbers. And
oh yeah, it's very by the numbers. It's very juvenile, but I think that it comes across slightly worse by what came before it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Oh,
I know. Yeah, just I can't hate this film. I do still have a special place in my heart for it.
Well, I just hate humanity in general, so you know. Oh, well, that's it for Lilo and Stitch 2, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary, or Bitch Fest, as I like to call commentaries behind the scenes. So, enjoy this, like, fucking pop-punk remix of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride.
By Jump 5.
And we'll see you next time for another Disneython free MovieCon. Bye-bye.